You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again.
Do you know what that meant? It meant a whip. It meant a whip.
Welcome back to another blickety black episode of the Friendship University podcast. I am Mickey, joined by my salaciously beautiful blonde-haired co-host Kristen C. $ with the big money bag $. And we're here for another episode.
Another episode of the Friendship University podcast. Yes, one of my favorite clips from Ivania. We miss you. I don't want you to come back, but
I do.
You brought me joy.
I didn't know that was a show until I saw that clip, and the way she invoked Harriet Tubman's name for some ancestral shame, I'm here for it.
Sing the lyrics to Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
What are you saying? Pop my
You
butt.
call yourself an entertainer? No, ma'am.
What did it mean to her? It meant a whip to her backside. She's brought us some good stuff. The Not on My Watch. I hope she's out here doing very well for herself. I would love to maybe see a reunion.
Network just to watch that show, because
please do.
Beautiful work. She's doing the work of the Lord, and I'm here for it.
It was a good time in television. I don't know if she could survive now with the state of society, not having a funny bone in their body. So I don't know.
Okay,
how you doing?
Tired. Motherfucker tired. You can see it in my eyes.
We're
all tired. Okay, listen. We are recording on our not normal day because capitalism has her heel firmly pressed on my third C4 vertebrae, or whatever the fuck, however people label those things. Right on the back of
the neck.
So she's right on my nape, right there. And I have a very busy week coming up. Between, like I said, capitalism being firmly pressed on my neck, and also hosting a housewarming party this Friday and getting ready for that. And then my partner's birthday is this week, so we're not recording on a normal day. I'm tired. Sundays are normally my do nothing and be a zombie in my house, leave me alone day. But here I am.
I would like the record to show, just pause, that Mickey decided that he could not postpone this for 1 week until I visit. But y'all have fun at your little party.
I'd like to preface the fact that no one told you to leave.
The Lord, and He's my ultimate.
If the Lord wants you at the party, he would be on a Delta flight.
I'm just saying,
you work remote. You can make it if you want to.
You gonna buy my ticket? It's next week. Did you buy
my ticket to help you move? No, exactly.
Where were you gonna sit?
Mickey tried to
fit his 6'6" body into the middle of a U-Haul van. And I don't understand why he didn't understand that that was not a good idea. I
And
was
I don't
looking out for
understand
you.
why my friend doesn't understand that I wanted to go be there with her for her
I wanted you
departure.
to be here as well, but
Obviously not
everything
enough
fell
because
apart.
we did. You were
Everything
here for my
fell
flight.
apart, okay? Everything fell apart. I had to put my car on the back of a U-Haul instead of driving it like I intentionally. We almost got ran off the road in South Carolina, North Carolina, all the states we went through. It was a mess, okay? You did
Wouldn't have
yourself
been
a
mess if I was
favor
there.
for not being on this
Wouldn't have
trip,
been
all
mess if I
right?
was there because I would have just ran everybody off the road.
Honestly, you would have. Honestly, I feel like so. This is just a sidebar. Anybody who's driven a U-Haul, especially with something towing on the back, you have restricted speed limits. Like even if the speed limit is like 70, they tell you not to go over like 60 or 55. I feel like Miki would have been going 70 and we would have been fine.
We would
We
have
was
fine.
trying to push 70 and I felt like I was on a Spirit flight. Like you remember when our mutual friend woke you up and it was that's what it felt like when we were trying to put. If we went anything over 62, we may as well have been in the space shuttle.
No, I can't. No, the
It was too much.
U-Hauls are literally Spirit planes built out of the same stuff. But
Oh
we're
god.
here for another episode. At first, I thought you were gonna say I could have postponed this episode for a week, and I was like, you would never let me do that because similar to
Absolutely not.
capitalism, Kristen also has her heel firmly pressed on my vertebrae. So
Somebody got to keep you in vision. You're going to thank me one day for this.
I'm gonna
You're
have a
not going to say
hunchback
it
for
out
VR.
loud.
Okay.
You're not going to say it out loud. I'm going to have to probably invoke into your dreams to get it. You'll never admit it out loud. But one day you're going to be like, I'm glad my friend had me do this regardless of the outcome.
If you say so.
I believe it.
If
I'm
you're a
glad that
fortune
you're
teller, you
doing
know
well.
where this is going. Tell us now, because I need to know. Okay,
I
but no,
am not a fortune teller.
we should get a fortune teller on the podcast. If you're a fortune teller and you want to be on the episode, let us know.
I'm good.
Not that I believe in that kind of stuff, but I feel like maybe it'll be fun. Uh, I went to a palm reader one time, and they did tell me that me and my partner at the time were going to break up, and we did break up. So maybe they were right.
I mean, congratulations on knowing that most niggas ain't, you know. Congratulations to them on knowing the facts.
Right. When we go into another palm reader, though, I'll let me be breaking up be a surprise moving forward. But how are you, friend?
Wow.
Outside of tired, and also having capitalism firmly pressed on the back of your neck.
Always and forever. Not forever. Lord, let me not put that in the
Hopefully not.
atmosphere.
Definitely not forever. I'll kill myself if that happens. I didn't
I'm
mean to say that out
good.
loud.
We
Whoops.
This is our listen. Hopefully, this goes according to plan. This is our third or fourth attempt at video. We are trying to give y'all something a little bit more when you're giving us nothing, but it's fine. We're gonna keep giving
Absolutely
and giving and
nothing.
giving. So hopefully this goes according to plan. But yes, I'm good. I'm back for another week. I'm so thankful that you were able to make time in your busy schedule. Miki decided to get a job that actually wants him to work. And I don't understand why he thought making the
I
big bucks involved not
Because
working.
the way I look at my managers doing not fucking shit, I just assume the more money you made, the less work you had to do.
I'm
So,
a,
because let
I'm
me
gonna
tell
say
you,
something.
our mutual, when we had worked together, I can remember very vividly someone who did absolutely fucking nothing but drove around in a Tesla and was flying around everywhere that they could think of, doing absolutely fucking nothing. That's what I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want right there.
I'm
And
gonna
here I
say
am working
this,
my ass off.
and I gotta like really let me posture this in a way that's not gonna put my foot in my mouth. There does We all know that corporate is certain percentage of politics, and in those politics lie certain job titles. This is because certain jobs would not exist if jobs under them didn't exist. So they have to have these kind of like billable hours or this like structure for people to do this work so that they can continue to make the big bucks. So there will come a time if you could continue on the trajectory of corporate that you will get into a position where you're doing an 80-20 or, reverse a 20-80, 20% of work. I have had jobs. I will not say currently this is my life, but I've had jobs where I have made a substantial amount of money, and I look back and I'm like, I was probably at Target 75% of those Zoom calls, or Home Goods, or IKEA, or the Cheesecake Factory, or
Okay, taking
TGI
me.
Fridays, or Maggiano's,
I'll be camera
or
off for this meeting. Thanks.
okay, I'm actually in a position now where it's camera forward, meaning that my boss is like, we don't care what other people do, we're gonna have our
You will
camera
be on
on.
camera. Okay. I've had a lot of teams like
So
that. She was like, I don't care what other teams are doing, but we will be camera on. I'm like, here's
I
the
have
thing about being
never
camera on. It's kind of what I experience here
experienced
at the
this.
podcast is like, I'm so observant of what my face is doing where like you can kind of tell that I'm constantly fixing my face. So like I have to like look above my camera sometimes, so I'm not focusing on what I'm like myself the entire time. Or in other situations, on like when I'm on team meetings, I'll just look at the hottest person in the room and just like pin their thing on on the TV or whatever. So,
You
um,
are crazy.
give me
I
something.
have it.
It'll keep me focused.
I have it where your picture is the biggest one, so that I don't. I told you so that I don't like look at myself, or I have that because I don't experience it now. But when I was first using Zoom, I was really like aware of myself being on camera and just different things like that. And I was like, I can't do this. Let me just. So I actually now I think I hide myself. I don't even see myself. I mean, I have to look at myself here because there's no way to hide me. But on Zoom, for sure. But this camera on, I get it, especially from having a background in learning and development. Virtual is, that connection is just a little bit more difficult to make. So camera on does make sense. Look at me putting my corporate air and voice on.
Mm.
But 8 o'clock in the morning, dog. Come on, man. Give me a break.
I also get
Like,
I get Zoom fatigue. Like after a few meetings, I'm like, please stop looking at me. Like let's be cameras
and there's
off.
a certain thing as Zoom fatigue. I appreciate times where people are like, hey, we know you've been on Zoom all week. It's Thursday or it's Friday. Like, feel free to keep your camera off or whatever, or we're going to cancel this meeting altogether and send you the email it
Listen,
could have been.
it's me. It's me with my customers that I work with. I'd be like, hey, so don't feel like you be on video because if you're not, I won't be, and I'll turn that shit right off. Okay, don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm no. We're here to look at the
Uh,
product, not me. So, bloop, just like that.
not,
Okay.
oh yeah. Also, people get don't mean to be conspiracy theory esque, but get the camera thing, get the camera shield where you can just boop, close it
Okay.
right on up.
Now
Now
you
you
see
see
me.
me?
Now you
Now
don't.
you don't. Go ahead and get that, especially if you're using work computers. So,
Okay.
but I'm good. I'm happy to be back for another week. As you all know, you can anticipate episodes from us every Friday. We are back on schedule. We took a little bit of hiatus to get our lives in order, and it just be like that sometimes. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be the last time.
I was like, our lives are
Y'all
not in
just
order, so it'll probably not be the last
y'all
time this happens.
y'all just gotta work with us. Life be life, and we're gonna do our best to bring this to you on a consistent basis. But episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays, and
Meow.
it's been a minute since we did that. I don't know how you do the fireworks or the balloons. I think you do it like this. No, you're not gonna do it. Oh, dang, you're just gonna embarrass me like that. I
Mm.
practiced this with our
Ambrossi.
producer. I practiced this with our producer, and it did it every single time. There, there it is. Oh, not DJ Mickey in the house. Okay. Oh
It's
yes,
a
that's
wrap on
another
you whenever
thing.
when I get sound effects. I'm telling you.
We are going to input your sound effects. I cannot wait. As many of you are already aware, and if you're not, my lovely co host is also a magnificent DJ, and he has been taking some time to divulge into different genres and playing around with his sound. And, we're getting a little bit of disco and funk now. So, we're going to link his latest episode of his set in the description box below. You can find him on SoundCloud. He's also on Instagram, DJ Miki, right? At DJ Miki. We'll have those handles in the description box as well. So you can check it out, get funky at work. It's
I
really
ain't gonna
going to
hold
boost
you.
your
I don't know
mood.
if that's my name. But we will put it in a thing. I've rebranded like 4 or 5 times. One day I will come through with a name. Here's the thing. I'm really upset that I wasn't born with a really marketable name like Charlotte DeWitt, Amelie Lenz.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those are names that just they sound like DJs. So unfortunately, I don't have a very marketable name, so I have to come up with a fake one. But I've remarketed myself like 4 or 5 times, so I'll put the thing in the description box. Yes, please support. Send it to your producer friends. Send it to your club owner friends if you have any. I'm trying to get out here. I'm tired of working in capitalism, doing
This kind of
doing 13
capitalism.
meetings a day. I'm just tired. So
That's disgusting. I think you beat
disgusting.
my record. I think you have officially beat my record. I thought that I held in at least in the friend group the amount of meetings that I've had in one day before, and I think you've officially beat it. I don't think I've ever had
Mm.
13 meetings in one day.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you, if this was a few years earlier, back when the job market was booming because of COVID, I would have quit by now. I have enough money where I probably could survive for a few months and then not be a big deal. I could have got a second, like another job easily. But in this today's job market, you can't just quit. Like, I know people always say, don't quit your job unless you have another job lined up, and that's 100% true because you don't know how long it'll take you to get a job. Unless you have a lot of money in your bank account where you're like, okay, I know I can survive a year and a half without working, then maybe consider it. But today's job market, it's taking people 9, 10, 11 months to find a job. Stick through it, honey. You can make it. I know
You
you're
can make
tired of
it.
this, grandpa, but that's too damn bad.
It's
You're
too,
going to have to make it through.
if
Okay.
you just faint not. And I mean, I'm a believer, so my belief in what I get is rooted in the faith in God. But there's also statistical data that just proves by and large, the more you put out there, it's just gonna happen at some point. There's no way for
It's
you
definitely a
to
numbers thing.
continuously. Yeah, like it's a numbers thing. The more that you put out there as far as applications and connections and networking and stuff, it will eventually happen. It's just there's no way. I mean, it's the law of not the law of attraction, but I don't know if it's called the law of numbers, but something along those means. So, to our people that are out there trying to find another job, trying to find a job, trying to break into your career, our hopes are with you. We are also trying to, level up ourselves. And listen, don't let Mickey fool you, because I guarantee you, probably by the next episode or by the end of the month, he will have a new job. I ain't
Don't
never seen
put me out
nobody
like that.
job hop. It's a good thing though.
Yeah,
Here's
no,
the
I'm
thing.
kidding. I'm a job hopper. I don't go. I am loyal
He is a
to my
job
cat,
hopper.
my friends, and my family. That is it.
Yeah, and I mean, not like in the job hopper used to be more on the derogatory list as far as like recruiters and people with loyalty and employment. But I think I like the way that it's going now, where we're giving this autonomy to individuals to feel like it's got to be a mutual benefit and respect outside of just my paycheck, right? Like I can't just be getting money from this, because you're not just getting one thing from me. My job description is probably 10 things at this point. So I do like if people feel like they're not being fulfilled or they're not getting what they need, that they're able to move on. That was one thing. That was one
And
of the
this
first
goes
things
to.
that
I'm
I
sorry.
noticed about you. Yeah, that was one of the first things that I noticed about you, where I was like, this guy really is a, like, you may say that you suffer from anxiety and all that, but you know what you want. And you gonna go for it.
I'll go for it. It's something I want. I gets it. Okay. What did
You
old girl
gonna go
say?
for it.
I'm the
And
boss, bitch.
he
I need to tell her the truth. Tell
and
her
he
you're the
gonna
boss,
get
bitch.
it.
Okay.
So
And this
I
just goes to
I ain't
show
never seen
you.
nothing like it.
This just goes to show you. I make more than I ever have on a professional level in my entire life. Like I'm not gonna say I'm rich, but I'm well off and right now, and I always will be. Just to specify that. But
Absolutely.
this is just proof that money is not everything. I know a lot of people who, especially when you don't have a lot of
I
money and you're like,
Producer, can you amplify that? Because I feel like I've tried to tell you this several times, and you
anyway.
told
So
me.
anyway, because here's the thing though, because at the time I was broke. Broke when you're broke, you're
I
in broke
get it.
mindset. And you're like, if I just
Mm-hmm.
make X amount of money, I'll be happy because I will
Mm-hmm.
get rid of that giant burden. Maybe that works for some people. But for me, money's not enough, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was. I wish it
Mm-mm.
was like, oh, I make good money, I'll suffer throughout it and I'll be good. I'm not that kind of person, unfortunately. Like I need to be. If I'm spending 40 hours at a job, I need to at least be tolerably happy. Not necessarily like exuberant, like, oh my God, I'm so fulfilled, I'm so happy. But I need to at least not want to pull my lack of hair out.
Yeah, I mean, it's quality of life, right? When we think about quality of life, we have to think about the things that we spend a lot of time doing. Our jobs are one of those. 40 hours a week is a lot of time out of a week. If you're talking about what we got, 12 days, 12, I mean, 7 days, 12 hours in a day, that's something around 80, 84 hours, 84 and then times two. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got like 160 something hours in a week and you're spending 40 hours of that. That's what, like a third, like one third or one fourth of that time.
The other time you're
So,
sleeping.
and you're
So
sleeping, you're spending time with other people, you're spending these hours, then you get off and you don't want to do anything. So yeah, quality of life.
very
And
important.
this is what I get, and I've always prefaced by saying that I understand that a lot of my situations have been different from other individuals. So I know that sometimes I can speak from a place that is not what some or a majority of people are experiencing, which I always try to reference. But yeah, money, when you really do see that money is not everything, and like you don't have to make it this great big god in your life, you start to value and think about and evaluate, what am I doing? Like, what do I want to spend my time doing? Where am I going? This is not enough. Cause I mean, think about the people who do like the NASA sleep studies where you have to be laying down and sleeping and all that, and all the requirements that go into that. I know, like maybe a year or two ago, there was a great big article that came out saying, "Oh, you can make $80,000 a year just sleeping." But when I actually went to the post on the website and saw all of the requirements that you had to have in order to be able to successfully do this, like 80 grand a year was like, nah, I don't know about that. And the physical wear and tear that it could come onto your body from that, like, nah. So I say this with respect. I wholeheartedly believe you get another job soon that you enjoy, that gives you a quality of life, and will either match or surpass where you are at now. Mickey ain't never left for less money. I don't think you ever left for the same amount of money. I think you've always only left for more
Now,
money.
I will
So,
say this current experience I'm dealing with, and it's, let me specify, it's not necessarily because I'm lazy, which I admittedly am
oh
lazy.
no, no, no.
Like
Mickey
I
is a
am.
hard worker. I will say.
I
I will
but
say
I do
that.
work hard. They work me too hard though, and I no, no, I
You
don't.
got acclimated to being able to take that nap in the middle of the day and cuddle with Loki and do
Yo,
all
big
that.
on the nap though, because I had a designated lunchtime, nap time. There were two separate times. Okay,
Calendar booked. I'm busy.
okay,
Private event.
busy work. Don't book. Okay, slack off. Don't talk to me. I'm napping with my cat. So, yeah, just yeah.
I
Anyway,
get
enough
it.
about me working in capitalism because I have to do that tomorrow, and I don't want to think about it
Oh yeah. Okay.
because I
Okay.
have
That's tomorrow's
tapings
problem.
tomorrow.
Let's let's take care of today's problems. Let's let tomorrow be its own worry. So yeah, let's hop into it. We are in the introspective, always being honest with y'all, we are working out names. So if we say something and it's different next week, mind your business. Okay. We're working through, we're trying to see what it sounds like. We're trying to figure out what's the vibe, if we're both feeling it. And, Mickey may tell me, nah, that ain't it. And I may tell him, no, that's not it. So, right now, we're hopping into our topics and we're trying to figure out the name. I don't know, Mickey, we threw out some names earlier. Maybe parking lot. We'll see. It may not be that next week.
Mm,
Anywho,
maybe like the newsletter.
yeah, I was thinking newsletter. I literally thought of that word in my head as you were saying it. The school paper. I don't know. Here,
We'll figure it
the front page on today's front page
out. Period.
of our paper. We've got a couple of topics. So first off, in the great state that I just left, Georgia, what the HE double hockey sticks is going on? Okay,
Mm,
like y'all fighting at the High Museum. We can't
mm.
have nothing. Y'all fighting and shooting at Six Flags. Y'all shooting at the Mall of Georgia. Y'all passing laws to lock people up unlawfully. Like, Andre 3000's concert that he just had, did that flute invoke the Nuck If You Buck crime mob spirit? Like, what is happening? Don't understand.
I the education system is failing us, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, it starts from home. It starts from a young age, and I guess they all flock to Atlanta. And Atlanta is the closest thing to an anarchy city that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like
That's
what are laws
funny.
here? There is no laws in Atlanta. You just kind of. Hopefully, you don't get shot.
It's a
Hopefully, your
lawless
car
land,
doesn't
but
get
a lawful
robbed.
land. Yeah, that's fair.
Ever since Mayor's Keisha Lance Bottoms left us, we've been in shambles. So
Since y'all been bottom up, it ain't been good.
it's
It
not been
ain't been
good.
good.
So it I don't understand. I feel like society in general is just like at this really weird tipping point because like money's getting tighter and tighter every day. Gas is back up to over $3. Like we were doing pretty good for a minute here in Georgia. Like
Oh, it
gas was like,
is?
yeah, it's like 3.20 like down the street from me, and I'm
Oh,
not in the city, so I can't imagine
wow.
what it's like in the city right now.
I did not
Um,
know that.
you
It's
know,
like four something out here.
sorry, I got sick in my stomach just thinking about
Don't
that.
worry. I got a very lovely friend who loves me very dearly and gave me a Costco card. Your girl be
Period.
out here, okay?
Period. $4 for gas is crazy.
I be in
Um,
that line for that 5 cents.
it's
I
just like
don't
I'll
care.
never rent a car in Seattle ever again because I realized that gas is way too much. So,
I will say
uh,
I do appreciate this city. I take the train way more than I drive now. Now
fair.
I'm paying. Now I'm just paying
Because
to
you
keep
have
my
real public
car.
transit.
I do, and now I'm just
Um,
paying an absorbent amount of money every month to have my car parked in the garage. But that's
get it.
another story for another day.
Mm. But yeah, no, Atlanta, lawless world. I don't understand why people move here. Like I understand why people back in the day, like 10,
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago moved here. The housing was cheap. Like
Mm-hmm.
most of the schooling districts weren't awful. It was nice temperature, blah blah blah. But now Georgia is overcrowded. It's
Mm-hmm.
violent. It's overpriced. It's a lot. So thanks for ruining Georgia, everybody, including myself, because I'm not from here. I'm from New York, so I'm part of the problem. But I was one of the OG ones, okay? I came here damn near 25 years ago. So I
That's
was an
true.
OG transplant. These new transplants, y'all got to go. Y'all got to go to Florida.
Yeah, you came. You came like right after Katrina, or like
I
with the
came before
Katrina
it was
influx.
cool.
I think.
I came right before Katrina. So I came to Georgia before coming to Georgia was cool. Because now everyone's like, oh, you have life problems? Move to Georgia. It'll fix it. It's not going to fix it. Moving to
It's
Georgia
not
is not
gonna
going to
fix
fix your
it.
problems. You still going to be not shit. Your mama's still gonna be not shit. Your daddy's still gonna be not shit. So your children are gonna continue to not be shit. So moving to Georgia is not gonna solve your problems. I'm gonna let you know that right here, right now.
Yeah,
It'll
I
make them
don't
worse,
really
actually.
understand.
Your problems will probably get worse moving here. So
It's like people, the South especially gets like this rap of being not progressive and behind already because of the things that we have experienced in the past, which newsflash had nothing to do with a lot of the people who are currently breathing and living in those places today. But I don't think people really understand like Georgia as a whole, and like they come here and they see it. It's like New York. You get this picture on television, you see New York undercover, and you see like Love and Hip Hop New York, and it's like either you're living in the slums or you're living this glamorous life. And then you see Georgia, you see Atlanta, and it's like, oh, opportunity and all that. And don't get me wrong, yeah, I feel like I personally do know people who are still in Atlanta trying to preserve the culture, trying to grow up the next generations, trying to do things to really help. But what I'm just not understanding is like this influx of violence that's happening. It's like, I don't mean to sound like old, but I just really do not remember this much happening in Georgia when I was growing up. Like, I don't really ever remember a fight ever breaking out at Six Flags. And we were at Six Flags all the time. I had multiple season passes over the summer. So I don't
as
know.
I don't. Yeah, it's
At the
kind of like
High
people
Museum?
fighting at a Disney World. Like, why are we fighting at Disney World? This happy place. Like, what are we? Why? No decorum, no home training, none of it. So, like I said, I personally, and this is maybe being a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. I really feel like Americans specifically, but maybe a lot of the world is just very on edge these days between finances, politics,
Could be.
shit going on in the world, technology progressing super quick. So I'm very interested to see what society looks like in the next like 15 years because it's looking real sketch right now.
Let Elon Musk tell it. We gonna be up the creek without a paddle. I mean, even though he had a vast majority to do with where AI and all that is today, but we gonna make it through. We gonna be all right. I just want y'all to get it together. I can say that now that I'm no longer there. Get it together, Georgia. Get yourself together. Even though I was saying it when I was there, just please. And I don't want to say like Georgia looks bad because a group of people decided to enact violence or settle their disputes in a not so savory way. But it's like, I'm going to just say the group of people who've been doing all this, get it together. Okay. We just came off the heels of Black History Month. I need y'all to act like it.
The
All right.
worst
I know
Black
Black
History
History
Month
Month,
ever.
it really didn't give us a lot. We didn't have a
Most
lot to work
racist
with.
Black History Month I've ever seen in my life. Obama
I'm
is a mulatto. Okay, so we need to do better next year.
I'm not
I
even.
mean, at
I'm not
least we didn't
even.
get
Happy
more,
International
really
Women's Month. Happy Women's
unfortunate
Month.
t-shirts from like Walmart and Target. It's the freedom for me. Okay,
I didn't
so
see that this year. I'll say that.
I'd
Walmart
rather
definitely
take
learned
that.
their lesson.
Bring them back. I'd rather take that if it means we're gonna get at least a decent Black History Month. So give me my freedom for me t-shirt extra large, please, in black. Thanks.
Maybe we'll get it for Juneteenth.
Maybe.
You can
You're
you can
right. There's
accept
still
it.
there's still a chance. Well, like the other one where it was just like I think Target had like a "So thankful I'm lesbian" shirt or something like that, and I was just like, that's very on the nose, but go off.
Uh-oh. Okay. Next news story. The teenagers who decided it would be a good idea to vandalize a sand sculpture at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. If you get a
Hold on,
chance
thought.
to
One
take a
second.
gander at that story.
1 second. My man just walked by, so I don't know what he's doing here.
He was making sure you said you were where you were supposed to be.
He has my location. He knows where I am.
He said, and you left the phone, and I need to make sure your physical body was there.
That would be crazy for me to leave my phone in the. Hold on a second. Let me see what he's saying.
Oh, he's gone. I'm trying to figure out this light situation. It's just,
He's out. Kristen.
Hey, Raj.
Wow, not the balloons.
Okay, it's a celebration. Lucha, what you say?
I love you.
Lucha.
I'm back. Sorry
Start
about
over
that.
from the last story.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. He fucking lost his headphones and he thought it was in the leasing office. So
It's okay. Oh, he finds
the
them.
headphones that I bought
Okay.
him, but whatever.
Wow.
I'll eventually get over it.
You are wild. Sorry, I'm trying to like
You're right. I won't get over it
fix this.
because I spent good money on those headphones.
You, he'll find them. I'm sure.
Did you turn camera off on purpose? Are we going camera
Yeah,
off?
I was trying to.
Okay,
I was
we
trying
can
to figure
camera
out
off.
this light. No, I was
Oof.
trying to figure out this light since we are 1 second trying to.
Somebody's.
It's fine. It's just gonna have to be in my. It's just gonna have to be in my glasses for now. I'm gonna have to figure it out later. So I can't move it. I don't want it to fall again. and I don't want to keep having to look down. So, and I don't want to like, okay, it's fine. We're ready to come back in. All right. So we were going, okay, intro into the, yeah. So let's just get into the next news story in our paper, our school paper. Um, Two teenagers decided it would be a very great idea to vandalize a sand sculpture at the Royal Caribbean. I'm sorry, Royal, I was about to say Caribbean. I put Hawaii and Caribbean together. The Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Did you get a chance to see that?
No, but my first question to this is, what are the race of these two women, individuals? White, probably, I'm
They
sure. Right?
they are not brown. They are not POC for sure. They are.
Okay,
I'm
as
gonna
long as
say
we're
that
not in
they're
trouble, that's all that matters.
the
Uh,
white tea, the
so
white tea.
I did not hear about the story personally. My second question to this is, what's so special about this sand sculpture thing? Like, what's so special about it?
It's a um it's been there for a really long time at this hotel. First of all, it's a piece of art. Somebody took time out of their schedule to create this piece of art. It's their body of work.
Hmm.
So it's special to whoever created it and the people who decided that it was worthy of being on display. I didn't really do a lot of historical research as to it. I just saw that it had been at that hotel for a very long time. So obviously, it's something that was created, and they've been able to preserve it over this amount of time, and they haven't replaced it, so they find some value in it. And secondly, it's something that it's special enough to not be touched by anybody, because what the heck are you gaining from destroying and vandalizing somebody else's body of work? Like,
I feel like that's got to be
I
an intrusive thought moment because, like, why else would you do that? Like, I
yeah,
can understand why some people try to like vandalize the Mona Lisa because they're trying to like make a statement about something, but like, were they making it? Was this like a environmental like thing? Were they like trying to like
no, it was
protest
just two.
fossil
It was
fuels?
two
No,
children. No, no, it was two. I'm not gonna say children. It was two teenagers. I think
young
15
ladies.
and 17. Yeah, I don't want to call them young women just yet because they are still quite young. 15 and 17 is still very much so. You are developing and really growing those muscles to understand the choices that you make and the consequences that come with them.
Were they
But
charged? Like, were they
yeah,
charged for
so they
anything?
were charged with, I don't think it was vandalism. I think it was defacing or something along the lines of vandalism, but they, I don't think they're in jail or anything. I think they just have to go to court to, like, before the judge for the charges. And it's just more so like when I first saw the clip, cuz there's like a 30-second clip that I saw, I thought the girl was drunk cuz she was stumbling, she looked like she was just, there's a rope that was around the sand sculpture. And so
Mhm.
she's like, first you see her like clawing at it like an animal, like a dog or something. And no, for real, like when you look at it, it's like, it looks like a pet trying to like get at something. And then she forces her body over and you think she's going to fall, but then she makes it over. And there's another girl who's recording it.
Mhm.
And it's just like in my mind, I'm thinking like, I've never, and I get intrusive thoughts are a thing, but I've never looked at something, especially like something that means nothing to me as far as like my beliefs or what I stand for or my morals, just something
Right.
random, and thought, I want to mess that up.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to just
I
pull
mean,
that
I've had
on
some
down.
intrusive thoughts, and I've definitely acted on those intrusive thoughts when it comes to like not necessarily like damaging something, but like nothing significant, nothing awful. Like it was nothing like public owned, nothing like that. Like for example, maybe I would see like a can on the side of the ground, and I would like stomp on it, like just
Right.
because my brain was like step on it. So
Step on it.
I don't understand why they did it. Hopefully, they get a hefty fine. And thankfully, well, I guess thankfully it's not like a Mona Lisa or a Van Gogh painting or whatever. Like it's a sand thing where like they probably can remake it and rebuild it. It would just take some time and like a lot of effort. But unlike these other items, when they're damaged forever. But you know.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
necessarily know if the artist is still alive or what. It when you if you get a chance to see it, you can also tell in the clip that there's a little bit of frustration that happens because
mhm.
you see her trying to damage it and you see that it's so molded together, like it's sturdy, that she starts to get more aggressive because it's not crumbling the way that she thought it was.
She's like, this
Like you
fucking
saw it
thing.
and you think sand. Yeah, so she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get over here and I'm gonna actually get," which really is disturbing to me. It's just kind of like, why are you angry like this, and
She
why
said,
do you
how
want to
dare
destroy?
you not break when I wanted you to?
I'm just saying, I watched a lot of true crime to understand that there are escalations to this.
Right.
So, girlie may want to get a little bit of help, and the person who was recording and thought that would be a good idea to do. In lighter news, our LeBron James, Sir Basketball, the hoops, has now scored the most points in the NBA,
Period.
40,000 points,
Jesus.
which I am not going to front like I know a lot about sports ball. Basketball is one sport that I do watch more frequently than others. So 40,000 points
So is that
is
40,000 points like based on like, oh, I got a 3 pointer, I got a 2 pointer? Or is that he got a ball in the hoop 43,000 times?
no, this is over the span of his career. He has scored a
Okay.
total
So
of
okay. So
40,000.
got it, got
Yeah,
it. So
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
equivalent.
So,
Okay. I mean, I guess actually not say it out loud. That's no, I guess you don't have to make 43,000 shots to get 43,000 points. You can just make like if you did a bunch of
no, you can
less.
make, I mean, you're taking into 2 3 pointers, different things like that, but you're
Yeah.
also thinking about like the average person is scoring maybe 12 points a game, maybe 18 if you're really good, 20 or something. Um, then you also have to take into account how many games that they've actually played. And, you know what I'm saying? We're thinking about LeBron James is someone who has gone to the playoffs and won several times. So that's even more games on his roster. So in this, like, this whole grand scheme of like your average 40,000 is just a tremendous accomplishment. So congratulations to him. Like, I can't tell you that I have did anything 40,000 times in my life except maybe breathe. And I don't
Right.
really know.
Maybe that.
I don't really know.
Not even 100% sure about that one.
I can't even say I've had 40,000 sleeps.
Definitely had those. Sleep eludes us, obviously.
So, congratulations to you, sir. Another tool
Black
in your tool
excellence.
belt. Black excellence. Thank you for giving that to us as we end Black History Month.
The worst part.
So in other news, my favorite topic, eluding taxes.
Okay.
Uh,
Fraud.
our nice hustle and flow Academy Award winner Terrence Howard
Mhm.
has finally had the U.S. government catch up to him. Apparently, this isn't the first time. Actually, in like 2005 or 2006, he had to pay back taxes on a home that he had, but he owes the IRS like $1 million in back taxes. And
Mm.
he said his reason that he didn't believe that we had to pay as African Americans or Black people is
Mhm.
because it was immoral for the U.S. government to charge taxes to descendants of slaves.
I
So
mean, I agree with him. I feel like that is immoral, but when has America ever been a very moral country? Uh, shit, if we're not getting reparations, at least make us tax free, like at least.
I
But
mean, that could be for a few years. Let us catch up. That could
okay,
be a
at
way. That
least
could
let
be a
us be
form of
lived
reparations.
tax free. But damn, I guess it sucks that them war machine checks didn't clear. So sorry,
I,
Terrence Howard.
I'm not. They cleared. He just wasn't. He said something along the lines of like hundreds of years of forced labor and not receiving any compensation. You have the audacity to now try to charge me taxes, the descendant of
Mm,
a slave.
mm.
I appreciate that.
Like I said,
I
I'm
don't.
about it. I
It
mean,
ain't gonna work. I mean, obviously it didn't. They were like, no,
let me explain
pay your
something.
taxes.
Unless you're a billionaire white man, pay your taxes because the American government will
Not
find
even them. Not even them. I'm
you. I
I'm trying
guarantee
to
you,
tell
Elon Musk is
you,
paying less taxes than you and I combined.
but he's paying what is owed. That's the thing.
His $20. Yes, he's paying his $20
He
a year in
is
taxes.
not, because I'm gonna tell you, $1 million. I ain't count nobody's pockets. I don't know, but I'm gonna assume $1 million to Terrence Howard ain't gonna put him on the street with a little Hulk bag on the back of his, a little Hulk sack on the back of his back.
Mm.
So he just didn't want to pay it, and it's a mix between people thinking that they can elude the fact of paying taxes. Like in his case, you have faulty people in your camp, aka your accountants or people like not doing what they're supposed to do, um or you're unaware, or you just think you're above the law, like Judy Garland. We see Martha Stewart. I'm telling you, you could get away with a lot in this country, especially as a non-POC.
As a rich non-POC.
paying them paying these people and the government their money is not and never will be one of them. Okay. It never will be. So
Pay your taxes,
pay
people.
what you owe.
It's tax season. Go ahead and start paying them. Get on that
I
payment
mean,
plan. Do what you got to do.
okay, I'm not, I have a business. I've had situations where as a freelancer, I've had to pay taxes, like go to a tax accountant or a professional, get my taxes done, pay out of pocket. Even
Mhm.
shoot, when I was working in the restaurant industry and I was a server, having to wage my tips and stuff like that, having to pay taxes. And I will tell you, obviously, the government pre-taxes us because they know if they gave us the option, most people wouldn't pay, and then they would just be spending these exuberant amounts of money trying to prosecute all these people.
Mhm.
So the best way obviously is to get it up front instead of on the back end. But as somebody who's had to like go through and you think you got the option to pay or not, I mean, I ain't never gonna play with the law. Let's just make that clear. My freedom is worth more than however much. I wholeheartedly believe that even though I'm making very good money right now, this is the least amount of money I'll ever make in my life. I'm going to be at a position where I'm going to probably be paying six figures in taxes at one day, and best believe that government will get it. You ain't
Mm.
got to worry about me, Doc. You ain't
Okay.
got to worry about me.
Don't worry about
I
me.
ain't going to jail.
Period.
I think. Oh, last up. So there was a movie that I saw, and that I saw it on social media, and then I went to investigate it myself. That is
Mhm.
out, titled "The Rapper Who Got Shot in the Heel." Can you guess who it's about?
Is it about
Let
Megan Thee
me let me
Stallion?
let me read you the synopsis. Musical artists Raven the Stallion and Corey Gaines have a secret love affair behind their friend Chelsea's back. One night, after a lot of partying and drinking, everything goes wrong, leading to a shooting that will forever change their relationship.
I said, get up on your good foot. Uh,
Bigfoot. I said, get up on the good foot.
okay, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot,
Red
big
foot, blue
foot.
foot. Foot. I
We
said,
can go
hip hop,
feet for feet, and we
foot.
go foot for foot. Okay, well,
I said,
anyway,
happy
so
feet. Feet
mm,
for feet. The one with feet for feet. You
you know,
got 1 foot and I got feet for feet. 1, 2, 3, my feet for feet.
I
Love you,
firmly
girl.
believe that this is a movie that was funded by Nicki and Drake's money,
Absolutely.
what a big money records, whatever the fuck label they have. This has a no.
It
What
got barbs written all over it.
what is this
More of a
movie
barb
called?
is actually the rapper who got shot in the heel.
I'm looking this up. Shot in the
Oh, before you look it up, you want to know the kicker?
go
We've been
on.
hearing a lot about Tubi, right? You would imagine this would be a Tubi film, right?
Gotta
Guess
be.
where it actually is? Amazon Prime.
I know what I'm watching tonight.
Okay, not next week's topic. Friendship after shooting.
Come on, Raven the Stallion. That's crazy.
And Corey Gaines.
The
Very
director is
original.
Alvin Gray. Who the fuck is this?
You can rent it on Amazon Prime for $1.99, or you can buy it for $4.99. I'm
I'm
gonna rent
not
it.
paying for this. I'm gonna find it illegally. I'm gonna let you know that right here, right now.
I'm pretty sure it was made illegally. Cause what the heck?
Okay, Meg did not sign off on this.
We need to
It
watch
has
it
one
before it's
single
gone.
review. One okay, it has 12 reviews and it has a 3 out of 5. I can't believe this.
3 out of 5 ain't bad. I seen worse.
I can't believe this. No, I'll be watching it later, but I won't be paying for it. They
We
will
can
not
split
leave
it.
that girl alone. They will not leave that girl alone. I don't understand. And here's the thing: I'm not team anybody because I don't give a fuck. I'm team
That's
Techno.
fair.
I'm team DeWitt. So I don't get into the whole rap beef thing. I think rap beef is. I understand where rap beef comes from, and I understand the concept of it. It's kind of part of the game. It brings the allure, and people like that stuff. I don't particularly care about the beef stuff because
Right.
I think it's stupid and a waste of time. And like, why do you care so much about why these two people don't like each other? Two people who are not paying your bills.
I mean,
But
it's fandom,
y'all need to leave that girl alone. Leave that girl alone. I don't know. Maybe Meg is an awful person. I don't know. I don't know her personally. I would love to meet her one day. I'm sure I would think she's probably a lovely lady, but maybe she is awful, but I doubt it. I highly doubt she's an awful person. Perfect, no, but awful, also no. Y'all need to leave that girl alone. Because you know what happens when you don't leave that girl alone? She releases hiss, and then y'all go on spirals. So leave her alone before she has to drag y'all part 2. Because then y'all gonna be spiraling again. Leave her alone.
She released part 2, and let me tell you something. Miss Big Bag gonna get right on her mic. If you don't apologize right now, I'm going to release the tapes. I'm still waiting. I'm still
Listen.
waiting.
She said, if you don't apologize, you don't want part 2 of the song. Nikki, we've been waiting for a few weeks for
I
part 2.
want it.
Where is it at?
I
Show.
want it.
I want to see it. Show
I
us.
want it.
Let me
Please.
stop. Let me stop talking about that girl because you know how they will dox us. They will find us and they will cause vengeance. But it's okay. Pull up if you want to. Me and that cat in
Please.
my house. It's a wrap. Don't even. Don't even.
Blah, da,
I ain't
da,
got.
da.
Listen. I'm not scared of dying. I'll take us both. Okay. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Honestly, he's not joking.
I'm not like
The only
this is why
thing he
fighting me is a
actually is
bad idea.
scared of is losing Loki.
Listen, fighting me is always a dumb thing to do because my brain is always going to go into like survival mode. Like, oh, you're fighting me, my life's in danger, therefore I have to actually injure you and or kill you to survive. That's why fighting me is a bad idea. I'm not fighting to whoop your ass. I'm fighting you to
Hunger
kill you.
Games.
Like
Hunger Games,
I'm
really.
not gonna let you beat my ass. What if I die? No, you have to die. So don't do it. Don't dox me. I'll set me and you on fire. Like I will pour gasoline on us
He's not
both and
joking.
hug you. Don't do it.
He's not joking.
I'm not. I'm really not.
Ooh,
But yeah,
yeah.
leave that girl alone. Please leave her alone. She just wants to twerk her big, juicy, fat ass and make money. Leave her alone.
And that she is doing. She just got a nice little Nike deal.
Oh, it looks good. Okay.
I'm gonna say this. Shout out to whoever her publicist is or her management, whoever the team
Beyonce.
is that she has her brand deals. Everything she does falls into alignment with the image that she, I'm not gonna say who she is as a person because I don't know her. The image that she has portrayed to us as a society
A hottie.
fall in line. A hottie, workout, like anime, present at the Anime Awards, clothing, Fashion Nova. She brought out the line for the tall girlies, the stallions, who I will say I heard reviews from people influencers that I trust who are tall, and they said, finally, somebody actually who is tall, making tall clothing for people, for women specifically. So shout out to them. They say no press is bad press. Y'all keep putting her name out there. It's just gonna get her views up. So I mean, I'm gonna say this though: nobody's above a nice movie because we saw what happened to what was that girl that talked about the baby, Angela Rye. No, that is a journalist. I'm so sorry, girl. That is so disrespectful.
Mm.
Whatever that girl was, that was on the highway. That Tubi movie came out quick. Now, what I will say is Amazon Prime. Who who's behind putting that on there? How? This director got to be somebody well known because how did you get it on Prime?
No, anything on Prime. What was it? Evil Bong versus Gingerbread Man. That was on Amazon Prime. So I don't think there's any board of ethics or review board or anything. They're like, if it uploads, it uploads. Okay.
Did we watch the Shark movie on Prime?
We watched a lot of shark movies on Prime. Sand shark, land shark, mecha land, sand shark. So yeah, Amazon lets anything through. They said if it uploads, it uploads. Okay, but we will charge you $2.99 to rent standard edition and $4.99 to rent HD.
Noted. I'll keep that in mind when I'm shopping around my manuscript. All right. um, let's hop into the topic of this week. It's been a while. You know, our favorite thing to do, get knee deep in other people's business.
Period. Okay,
So we are
and 10
here
toes on
with
other people's business.
some Reddit advice questions from friends to relationships. I've got a mixture of a couple. So we're going to hop into that and give our 2 cents, our wooden nickels that nobody asked for.
That
Mickey, you
nobody
want to kick us
asked for.
off or you want me to kick it off?
You can kick it off.
All right. We're going to start. So we're going to hop into some business. I got one for an AITA. For those who don't know what that stands for, that's a Am I the A-hole? Saw this, thought it was pretty interesting. Am I the a-hole for blocking and deleting my partner's ex's number off of her phone? I blocked and deleted my partner's ex number off her phone because she contacts him every so often when she doesn't need to. Is this really bad of me? I feel more secure now that I've done it, but I also feel bad that I had to do that.
Is that
Thoughts?
it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so I'm actually really happy you brought this kind of story up. So this recent thing I've learned from not only my therapist but also TikTok, who's my other therapist, is the concept of let them be theory, in the sense of maybe your partner, your friend, your job, whatever. Just let them be. Let them make decisions for themselves. Let them make mistakes or whatever the case may be. Like, you can't control someone or control who they talk to or when they talk to this person or blah 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 blah. Do I think you're an asshole for deleting the or blocking whatever you said their number?
They
Yeah,
blocked and
kind
deleted
of.
it.
Because
So
that's
they
not.
deleted the number. I don't know how you do that because I thought if you block someone, the number has to stay. But they said they blocked and deleted it.
I don't know. But
So
anyway,
maybe on social media they blocked them. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you're the asshole because that's not your phone. That's not your property. That's not your decision to make. Like, your partner is their own person, and they have the right to delete or not delete or block whatever any person they want to. A healthier thing would be, hey, partner, I noticed that your ex reaches out frequently. It makes me uncomfortable. Can you handle it? And maybe that handling it comes in a form of setting a boundary where, like, was it a girl or guy? I don't remember, but
It was a
being like,
guy who did it to his partner.
got it. So maybe being like, hey, can you just text somebody like, hey, I'm in a relationship. Like, you can't really be hitting me up like this, or like some kind of boundary, or like, hey, it makes you uncomfortable. Like, do you mind blocking them? Now, they didn't specify in this thing if they asked their partner that. Because if you asked your partner that and they were like, I'm not doing that shit, like, why would I do that? I love talking to my ex. That's a different conversation. It might be worth you
Right.
reconsidering a relationship. But if you didn't ever have the conversation about, I don't like this, it makes me uncomfortable, I don't want it happening, and you just took their phone and did it, yeah, you're kind of the asshole. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. I mean, trust me, I get it. I deeply get it. Whenever I see another person's name pop up on my man's phone, I'm like, who is that? Block them immediately. I don't care who it
Not who's
is.
calling us, who's
Oh, who's
texting
this? Is
us.
that your father? Likely story. Block him. Okay. iPhone is a wePhone now. Okay. So
I
I
cannot
think you are the
stand you.
asshole. I think you are the asshole. And here's the thing. What's stopping your partner from just getting the number back? I'm sure if they were in
What?
a relationship with this person, they probably know their number. They probably can look at their block list and be like, oh, there's Tammy's number, unblock. Like, you're not really doing yourself a favor here. So, other than showing your ex, or not your ex, showing your partner that you can't be trusted because you're
Right.
in my phone doing shit without my permission,
Right.
And also, you seem insecure. Like, do you not trust me to like
Yeah.
not cheat on you with my ex? Like,
Right.
so no, you're the asshole on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Um, I am going to agree because I feel like there are a lot of layers to this, and there's a lot of a lot of plot that's missing that would add some texture to this answer. So I'm just going to assume. I'm gonna assume that they did it without their partner knowing, because if I knew you did it, I could easily just undo it if I really wanted to. Um, I'm going to assume that they brought it up and their partner was still contacting them, because they said that they were contacting them when they didn't need to be, which I don't even know what that means. Like, do you mean that they're discussing the current relationship you all are having with their partner? You feel like they're being inappropriate in their dialogue or whatever? I'm gonna say that this is a buzzword. I hate using them, but it is a red flag on both parties, because if you are so insecure that you're willing to do something behind my back in order to not just make yourself feel more secure in this relationship, but keep me from making decisions for myself, our relationship is not where it needs to be. Clearly, there's some trust broken, or you don't have the ability to trust in the magnitude that we need in this relationship, or there's a communication issue. You brought it up, I didn't respond the way you wanted, or I felt like you felt like me staying in communication with this person was more important than the relationship that we have, and you didn't communicate that. Instead of saying like, hey, it really makes me uncomfortable that you're talking to this person and I don't understand why you need to be in communication, and
Hmm.
then providing kind of like a why to that. I think a lot of times we're so conditioned to believe that I should just be able to tell you how I feel and you should just take it without a why, or like a groundwork as to like what is causing these. And we underestimate the value that given the why could do in the conversation and for the dialogue, and subsequently what will happen post dialogue.
Right.
So you really need to like, okay, this is making me uncomfortable because I feel like you're discussing things about our personal relationship with this person. I don't think that's appropriate. Y'all
Mhm.
dated, you have history. Now if I'm sharing memes, maybe it's not inappropriate. Maybe you just feel like I'm the only person you should be laughing with. Like me.
Oh,
Laugh with
me.
me.
That's it. No more.
That's it. Nobody else. Then now we have open discussion as to why do you feel like I shouldn't have a relationship with somebody else? And all of those. So the why really opens up the door and the window of communication to be able to explore what's really going on in the root, and then get to, a solution that's soluble for both parties.
Agreed.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
say like you should never, it's not going to render the solution or the response you're looking for when you do something behind your partner's back.
Right.
It
Like,
never is. Like in the
I would probably,
moment,
as I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say in the moment it can provide solution, or it can provide some resolve, because they did say like I feel better, but I feel bad that I did it. Like you feel better because now they're not in communication. But what happens when they find out that you did this?
Right. Now you look crazy.
You don't think that they're going to have a response to it, especially if they felt like this was someone who they like to be in communication with. And I say that from an aspect of I've been on both sides. So I've had a partner do something similar where they deleted a text thread and deleted the person's number out of my phone. And I didn't actually realize it until the person messaged me one day. Now, this was someone whose number I kind of recognized, but I didn't know by heart. So I just made the assumption that it wasn't them, because
Hmm.
I was like, why would their number not be saved in my phone? And then when I realized it was them, then the whole conversation came out and it was just this whole big ordeal. Like, why did you feel the need to do that? And then it opens up the why, right? Like, what's going on? And then I've also been on the giver end, where I didn't necessarily do this to a partner. I actually did it to a friend. a friend was flaunting very what I felt was personal information about other friends that I had that
Hmm.
we had in our circle. And I'm not even gonna say other friends. I'm gonna say these were people that this friend knew by association, but they were people who I actually considered friends.
Right.
Like these were people that I cared about. So when I realized that they were flaunting around this information, I deleted it out of their phone. I told them immediately, but I went back and I thought, now I was younger. I was much younger. I want to say I was maybe in college or right after college, right after undergraduate, I should say. And after we had the conversation, of course, they were angry, their trust was broken and stuff like that. And we had the conversation. I started to realize, yeah, that was wrong. I should have told you that even though I did tell them like that's messed up, I should have been more forthcoming in my conversation and my language to them about why I felt like it was messed up and I didn't think it was right and these are people that I care about and I don't think you should be doing that. But regardless of what I think, I don't have the right to go into someone else's property and alter anything. Like
Hmm.
if it's not even see there's a gray line between this for me because even if it is of detriment, like let's say someone's dealing with addiction and I want to just get rid of everything in their apartment that also can cause a conflict and a tear between the relationship that I don't want to happen. So you just really have to be mindful when you're thinking about altering the personal property of people in any capacity.
Agreed. And I will say this, like, my little last point on it is, and this kind of goes back to the first thing about like just let them be. Like,
Yeah,
would
I
you
like
really
that.
want to be with someone who prioritizes their ex over you or
Right.
cheats on you with their ex? Probably not. So let them be. Let them do what they're going to do. Try not to control people, which I know is a lot easier said than done. Like it's especially when you have like maybe like a mental illness or trauma or
Yeah.
abandonment issues, things that I'll have. So I get it. I've been guilty of going through partners' phones before. I've done it. I think everybody's probably done it here or there. Maybe not
Absolutely.
everybody, but a lot of us can probably admit, like, yeah, I looked over when they were on Snapchat. Like I glanced over. Like we all have our insecurities, but you really just got to let people be, let them show up the way they're going to show up, because that's where you can see who they really are and make that determination of, do I want to be with this person? Like, is this person good?
Yeah. You'll never know until you I liken it. I use this in my personal life as well as in my professional life. Systems are something that are in place and you never know they're broken until you let them break.
Mhm.
So you have to like allow things to play out in the way that they're supposed to organically in order to realize what's going on. So that whole let them be, I completely agree with that. Like let it play out and see where it go. Cuz if they're doing this with one person, what makes you think this situation want to rise again?
Right. Shit, my partner right now could be out here getting his backbone out. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and try to control him. I'll just exit stage left if I ever find out.
I will not take part in that because I believe that they are not out here doing that.
They better not be.
But
Shit. I know you listen to this. Yes, I'm talking to you. Love you, babe. Mwah.
no bars. Yeah. So don't do that. Talk to your people. Don't
Talk
go
to him.
behind their back.
Well, so I'm gonna go ahead and move into the next one, lighten it up a little bit, and I picked this one out specifically because I know we touched on it a little bit about making friends and especially when you're in a new area or whatever the case may be. So this one says no friends since I moved. Again, Chris and I picked this one just mainly because
You
you're a
be
you're a
throwing
friendless
shade.
hoe who just moved,
You
so
been
we
throwing
have
shade,
no
yo.
friends currently.
It's
I feel like we'd be
breezy.
a good time to talk about it. So, I moved a couple of years ago and I currently don't have any friends, similar to Kristen. It's a struggle as no one here is my age, or if they are, they don't want to be my friend. It's always a failure after failure. People always have excuses, being busy or something like that. Well, I'm busy too, yet I make time to make friends and try to hang out. I'm just as busy as these people who are saying they are busy. It is very uneasy knowing that they can just use such an excuse like that. There is always time. It's up to you to how you use your time. So basically, this person is like, I moved to a new place. I ain't got no friends. Everyone's a flaky bitch. No one wants to hang out. So, like I said, Kristen, as a friendless hoe yourself, how are you kind of handling making friends in a new location?
I'm gonna say first of all, I'm not friendless because I have a friend, the ultimate friend. His name is Jesus.
Okay, come on,
Thank you.
Jesus.
Um, Anywho, so I'm actually glad you brought that up because I it's funny because I had an alternate kind of like that in my lineup, so I won't get into it. It was kind of similar, like this girl was saying, once you post 30, you're kind of screwed making friends. They like just turned 32 and having all these issues like making meaningful connections and relationships. Um, it is a I'm trying to find the word. It has to be borderline on the same wavelength of intentionality, finding friends as you do a partner. There are certain characteristics, there are certain traits, there are certain things that you look for in a partner. You need to be looking for what traits you're looking for in a friend. So if people are showing you that they're flaky, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna start with saying the beginning stages of friendship, albeit kind of important, like you're filling people out, you're trying to get a feel for their mannerisms, their morality, their characteristics. Um, there's a certain level of grace that I feel like you have to have in that because life be lifing. And I do believe that people make time for what they want to make time for, but there are also other reasons why people don't make the time for what they want to make time for. So you may see it as these people are flaky or they just don't want to hang out with you because they're not making the time. When in actuality, it could be, I don't feel like my best self. I'm anxious about getting to know somebody. I've got a past. How do I open up to this person? Are they going to be my friend if they actually figure out the real person that I am? I don't feel like showing up as this impersonator. I got to really figure out who I am. So there are these things that happen on the back end. And I'm not saying that's anybody else's weight to carry, but that individual. But I am saying when you are starting, we are so graceful and open to people we're in romantic relationships with. Like I know people who have met people on Tinder. And when I say every red flag in the book could have popped up, but you still chatting with them. You're still building a connection. You're still going out with them, having them like we got to start having the same grace for people who we call friends and we want in our life. If anything, I feel like friendships are just as important because if you're going to have these individuals in your life as you go forward and build and do whatever you're called to do in this life, you need to make sure that the team around you makes sense to that. Like if you're just looking for people to hang out with, that's different. If
Mhm.
you're looking for a situation where you just want to go to the movies with somebody, or there's an event at the museum that you want to take someone to, or there's wine tasting, or this or that, that's different. You have all kind of avenues. Join your local groups on Facebook, on Instagram, join meetups, gathering spots, all kind of stuff. You can do that. But if you're looking to build genuine connections with people, first you need to be honest, just as you are when you're looking for a partner. And then you need to source out the people who have the characteristics in what you're looking for. I did just move to a new area. You do have to put yourself out there. I'm going to say that. You cannot stay in the house. It's just no way. Like, you will never meet anyone if you stay in the house. And I'm a pretty sociable person, I'll say. That doesn't necessarily mean I always want to be out and meeting new people and building connections and letting people in and letting barriers down. Like it can be a lot emotionally. It can also be a lot physically. I work a
Mhm.
full-time job. I'm doing this podcast. I'm working on other side projects. I got my freelance. Like I can list off a catalog of why I don't have the time. But for me, human connections are important. This whole podcast was birthed because I feel like the lost art of friendship exists. People don't take human connection for the value that it really is. Like we want to explore the intricacies of building and nurturing and sustaining connections with people, because I feel like people are our greatest resource and we treat them like they're nothing. So, oh, excuse me, there's like something flying in the air. But
Mm,
yeah, so get out, go meet people. I haven't yet, but I have been looking at like meetups. So I've kind of pinned a couple of groups that pique my interest on like social media apps like Instagram and stuff. And I'm
mhm.
looking out for like the next events that they're having and trying to work it into my schedule. But outside of that, I've just been going to things solo. That's another thing. You have to kind of get acclimated and okay enough with yourself to do things by yourself.
Right.
Because if you don't feel comfortable alone, you're not going to go do things alone. And then you're going to try to find whoever you can to start going with you. And then you just kind of like put your wants and your desires to the side because you just want someone who's there. Again, liken it to a partner. You just really have to be intentional about it. So I've gone out, I've met people. I'm not gonna say I've met like people who I'm like, oh, that's my next best friend. But I have met people where I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I like your style. I like your vibe, for lack of better terms. I like your integrity. I like who you are. I like the way that you're talking. And I would like to get to know you more and see if the walk matches the talk. And then we could take it from there. But yeah, girl, get out there, be intentional, and keep looking. If this group of people is flaky, move on. There are so many people in the world. You can meet someone else who fits into that category. If we are going to go under the assumption that all the people in the world we can find someone to match with romantically, then obviously there are people you can match with in a friend in a platonic way. You
Exactly.
just got to put yourself out there. Ugh, I'm sorry. There's like my nose is like, ugh,
Okay.
go on. I'm still here.
Um, I personally don't have a bunch to say on this topic, mainly because I have yet to escape the shackles of Georgia, both metaphorically and literally. But I have moved to different areas, and everything you said is right on the money. Like, one, you can't expect to make friends from your house, which I mean, that's not 100% true. Like, we do live in a more connected world where you probably
Yeah,
can establish some connections over like video
you can
games or
start.
on
Yeah,
Instagram,
you
but
can
yeah,
start for
eventually
sure.
you need to go out and meet people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just going out to places like by yourself. I know it's like scary and sometimes like it doesn't always hit. Like I'll admit it took numerous times me going out by myself for me to feel comfortable enough just even starting a conversation with someone
Yeah.
random. But some of my closest friends I've met really just going out to like a show or going to a brewery or whatever the case may be and just like, eventually just having a conversation with someone. So don't have a whole bunch to say on that topic. Again, I mainly brought it up because again, Kristen has no friends, and I thought it would be a good time to discuss
I
that.
don't receive that. I have plenty of friends because I show myself friendly. So, and that is something you also have to do. If you're out and you see someone who seems like they're unapproachable, are you going to approach them? No.
No.
So, make yourself approachable. Like, I'm not saying put yourself out there with a sign on your back that says "We'll talk for friendship," but just be out there and be comfortable and make it known that you're looking for friends, and just be intentional is what I can really say. Like, you just really have to be intentional about what you're looking for. I think we really just underestimate the power of intentionality in our lives.
Mhm.
Every aspect, the more intentional you are, the more you gravitate and pull what you are actually seeking versus just taking whatever is available to you. My camera and my
Right.
light just died, so now
Yeah.
it's okay. I don't know. I don't know what's happening because this was working fine, and now all of a sudden it's acting like it ain't got no kind of zeal or battery life. So whatever.
Mm,
But yeah.
tragic. On you.
Let's see. All right. I got my friend sends me multiple videos and messages a day, and I find it super overwhelming. What do I do? Hello. So I've been very good friends with this one person for around 2 years now. I'm sorry, y'all. There's like allergies. I'm not on that stuff. I promise you. Like you could look at my nose track.
Mm.
Ain't nothing up there. It's just like I literally like hit something on my
Oh, you
pillow and
hit
maybe there was dust.
something.
Maybe
Mhm.
there was dust there and now it's just like particles floating all in the air. So it's been irritating my allergies. I'm sorry. But anywho, I've been very good friends with this one person for around 2 years now. It was an instant connection and we get along super well because we have some shared trauma, which what
Don't we
for
all?
the past for the past 6 to 8 months, they have been sending multiple Instagram reels, TikToks, Snapchat video messages, voice notes, general messages, and huge paragraphs every single day. I'm usually okay at responding to people, but generally prefer to talk about huge things in person rather than being told over text. I've been finding that the amount of stuff that they send me is really overwhelming, and I feel like I'm a bad person for not responding. It's getting to a point where I feel angry after they send me 4 reels in 30 seconds, and I'm not kidding. I don't want to break the friendship or block them, and I would not have a problem if they sent 1 to 2 reels a day, but I don't know how to tell them. I have tried to hit at it, but I don't but they haven't understood. How do I go about telling them to back off and stop sending so much stuff?
So, as someone who currently has 22 unread messages from
Okay.
18 different people, the simple answer is do not disturb. Here's the thing. I have a lot of friends who are like this, where they not necessarily send me a lot of messages, but they'll send me meme over GIF over GIF over TikTok over TikTok. And I do appreciate it. And there are times where I do want to watch them, but I do not have enough time in my day, nor do I care enough to be constantly tuned into the conversation all the time.
Okay.
I have a job, I have a cat, I have a partner, I have anxiety, I have other things to worry about. So uh, I will say your best friend here is probably going to be do not disturb just to cut down on some of those notifications because I understand getting overwhelmed by them. Like I said, right now I'm seeing
Mhm.
23 unread messages, and there'll probably be 23 unread messages by the end of the week. I'm probably not going to read them, not going to lie.
Maybe double.
Probably double, honestly. Like, I'm big on a don't delete, leave me alone. But it's also, again, this kind of goes down to communication. Like, I don't think, did you
Mhm.
say that they expressed that they prefer talking in person or they just said that they like talking in person? Because unless
They
you tell
said that
them,
they hinted at it, but the person didn't
girl,
understand. Hint,
people are
come on.
dense and stupid. You got to tell them straight up. Listen, don't ever beat around the bush. If there's something you want or you need to express yourself, don't be like I really love talking in person. No, you be like, hey, you send me too much shit. I have a lot going on and I don't want to read all of it. Would you prefer talking in person? Because I'm cool with that. Just be honest. Like, it's either you're going to take it and do what you asked and y'all talking more in person, or they won't.
Mhm.
And again, that'll be one of those let it be situations.
Let it be.
Can you accept this person continuously reaching out to you and sending you things you don't care about? Can you accept that and have a healthy friendship? Maybe that's up to you. But you can't, like, you have to communicate that with someone. Again, I use D&D quite frequently. There's a lot of message threads that I have that I'm like, I'll get to this when I get to it if I get to it. And it is what it is. Like, I don't feel bad about it. I mean, you have your own life. You have shit going on. So I don't think you're an asshole. I think you need to communicate with your friends so I don't feel like you hate them or like there's
Yeah.
something wrong with them. But other than that, I don't see the big problem.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting because I am a memer. I send me now I don't feel like I send a ton, like overwhelmingly, but I will send a good laugh. And I like for my friends, if you say you care about me, mean me. Send me funny things that you think would make my day and brighten me up and bring a smile to my
Right.
face. So I do have people on social media, particularly in my friendship circle. I'm in quite a few group chats that could get a little overwhelming. I a mute, a good mute for a group chat is good for me. Um, I am someone who I feel like if I send something and I want a conversation about it or I need like a more quick response, I will call. Like I'll give an allotted amount of time, like for the individual to kind of see it or, throughout the day. But if I haven't garnered a response by the time I feel like is appropriate, I will call and be like, hey, did you get a chance to see XYZ? Because I kind of want your feedback or whatever on it. I think communication is key, like you said. Just tell them, like, hey, this is overwhelming. Like, you're not just sending a few things, you're sending multiple things over multiple platforms all the time, every day, all day. And I just don't have, I'm trying to keep up. You sent a gif about a monkey, then you sent a gif about Trump, then you sent it's just too much. It's too much. It's overload. Maybe they got some kind of like sensory overload thing happening, whatever it may be honest with them. If you're afraid that this will alter the friendship in a negative way, then that's another conversation that you need to have. If you're considering this person of being a good friend of 2 years or whatever, and you can have a conversation about feeling like the type of communication you're having isn't conducive to the relationship you want to build with this person, you
Mm-hmm.
may want to evaluate what's happening. So you need to be able to talk to them and tell them what's going on and tell them that it's overwhelming. And I just feel like I'm not going to tell you making a mountain out of a molehill, because I don't know this individual and I don't know you and I don't know how you feel about conflict. Some people, any form of what they consider conflict can bring on anxiety or confrontation, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once you do it and get over that hump of confronting it, you'll feel a lot better and you'll realize, man, I've gotten this weight off my chest. Now we can move forward. I don't, I've never heard of anyone saying, like, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you tell me I send too many reels. Not
Right.
saying it can't happen, but what I am saying is if you prefer to talk about bigger things over the phone and you prefer to get less information on social media and via text, then just be honest. As somebody who sends memes, if somebody told me, hey, it's a little bit too much, I would slow down. I
Right.
just find somebody else to send them to. Good riddance.
Exactly. Right. Listen, me and my best friend, or one of my best friends, I should say, he sends me TikToks all the live long day. And he began on me like, "Have you seen my TikToks?" No, sir. And I probably won't see them for another week. I'll let you know when I watch them. Here's what
Okay.
helps me in those situations is like I try to take things in bulk. Like I won't keep up to because I feel like a lot of like the pressure they might be feeling trying to keep up with it as it comes
Yeah.
through. Set if you need to set aside an hour or 30 minutes at the end of the day or in the middle of the week to catch up on the messages. So be it. It is what it is. I mean, again, I think you should
Or
communicate with your friend.
if you just don't look at them as they come in and then you catch whatever the last one is that they sent, so
Ignore
be
everything
it.
else. Okay, everything.
Cause I done been there. I done been there where I'm like 20 mess. I ain't going back up here. This
Period,
last meme is what I'm responding to.
and that's it. But yeah, good luck to you because I get it. I do get it.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
Uh huh. Uh,
Okay, so this one hit home personally because it's me. It was me in the past. It's me
it's me.
currently. I
Hi.
pretend to be asleep so I don't have to hang out with my friends. I may have wrote this myself. Who knows? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I'm an
I.
introverted person who likes to have his own space. And when it comes to having my friends over, I find it extremely overwhelming. Oftentimes, when my friends call me to hang out, I'll just pretend that I'm asleep and then follow up with them a few hours later saying, "Sorry, fell asleep, didn't mean to." I have done this well over a few times, especially with my best friend, who I love to death. But again, I'm an introverted person and I need a lot of time to myself. Am I an asshole for lying to my friends about not wanting to hang out with them? That's it. Yeah, I don't know why I worded it that way. Sorry, there's a dog nearby. I'll take this one real quick because again, it hit personally for me. As someone who does not like confrontation, especially back in the past, I'm a little bit better about it now about being honest about
Mhm.
what I'm feeling. Like nowadays, I'm like, hey, I'm tired, I'm emotionally exhausted, I can't do it, I don't want to hang out today. What I want to hang out with my cat because he doesn't annoy the piss out of me like you do, so I'm gonna do that instead. Um, I don't think you're an asshole per se, but I do think it's worth investigating or digging a little bit deeper as why you feel like you can't be honest with your friends about like, hey, I'm not feeling it. My emotional battery is a little bit low. My social battery is feeling a little bit low. I need some time to myself, whatever the case may be. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
express if they've told their friends this, because maybe you did tell your friends this and they call you flaky, or they're like, oh, you never want to hang out with us and stuff. And I can get that's like painful to hear, especially from people who don't understand what it's like to be introverted, because not everyone's
Mm-hmm.
introvert. Like extroverts, we've talked about this before, they don't really understand that, like, hey, I need my alone time. I need my quiet time. Like I feel
Right.
overwhelmed. I feel overstimulated. I feel A, B, C, and D. So I don't think you're a bad person. I think it'll be really telling if once you do have this conversation with your friends, like what the conversation will go like, as far as like, are they going to kind of get on your case and like make you feel bad about needing time to yourself? Which, let me specify, you should never feel bad about needing space for yourself. You're number one in your own life, no matter what. You can be madly in love with someone, you could have a best friend for 50 years, you're still number one. They could be number two and number three, but you need to be number one in your own life. So if you need
Mm-hmm.
your own time to decompress and relax, and maybe you see your friends once a month or whatever the case may be, if you're happy, cool. They may not be happy about it, and that's, again, tying back to what I said earlier, let them be. If they are like, I'm not really feeling it, you never want to hang out, and I need a friend who wants to hang out every Friday and do game night, that's for them to decide, like, hey, maybe I need a friend who will fit those needs. um, so again, I don't think you're a bad person. I think it's worth a conversation. I don't think it's a friendship ender per se, but I I get it. I do get it. Trust me. I used to pretend I was asleep all the time, knocked out. Oh, sorry, I'm asleep. Meanwhile, I'm on TikTok. Sorry, I'm sleeping. Sorry, I
Okay.
missed your call. I was doing anything else but answering it.
But answering your text messages, good to know. Now, just saying, I feel like on a certain level, I already knew that, but it's fine. I get
I mean,
the why
I'm better
behind.
now. I'm definitely a lot
Definitely,
better now. I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to hang out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
you definitely will say like, but the amount of times you used to say, "Oh, I've been asleep." I'm like, all right, it's the 40th time in 2 days that you've been
I mean, now
asleep,
to be
bro.
fair, a lot of those times I was asleep because I'm always exhausted, always tired.
That's
I went to
fair.
this doctor this week because I was like, listen, doc, I have extreme fatigue. I could sleep for 8 hours, have good sleep, and wake up still utterly exhausted. So we need to figure that out.
Yes, figure out the nutrients, what levels are unbalanced in your body. Um, so for me, it's more so about the approach to the situation versus the situation itself. I wouldn't necessarily say you're the a-hole, but I do think you have to like it's totally okay to take time for yourself and put yourself first in a lot of scenarios. It's just about the approach that you take for it. If you're feeling the need to lie and make up situations where you don't have to necessarily interact with individuals that you like and that you say are your friends at the basic level of responding, communicating, talking on the phone, or even hanging out, if you don't address it now, it's only going to progressively get worse. So it's worth facing it with them now to say, hey, I really just be needing a lot of alone time. Maybe it's just for a season, maybe it's forever, who knows? But for right now, y'all be trying to hang out every weekend and I just ain't got it in me. I work, I got this going on, or you be wanting to talk on the phone a lot. I just ain't got it in me. Like there was a time in my life where I really wasn't a big phone talker. Like I didn't time wise have it in me because so much was going on physically, emotionally, spiritually. I just was like, I don't have it in me to be talking on the phone with people for extended amounts of time. And I had to be honest because I realized I had let some time lapse where I wasn't like communicating that. I wasn't responding quickly. I wasn't reaching back out to people. And my friends had to come to me and say, hey, like, this is not like you, or we don't appreciate like you not being accessible or you ignoring us. I call you on Monday. You don't call me back for 2 weeks, XYZ. So I
Exactly.
had to like, right. I'm a big proponent of actions in the sense of if I say someone's important in my life, I want to make sure that my actions match that. And so if I say like, hey, I do appreciate your friendship and you are important to me, even if like at the time I don't feel like my actions are matching, I want to make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward in that. So that could just be communicating, I don't have the capacity to do this.
Hmm.
Meaning I don't have the capacity to communicate with you on the level that you're either used to or that you require right now. I'm putting
Yeah.
forth what I do have the capacity for, and I'm hoping that we can meet in the middle on it. But here's what I have. So I think that goes for anything in friendship, right? We go through seasons. There are times where your friends need certain things from you, need you to be there a little bit more. And I think it's very important to be honest about what you can offer them and what you have. Because if the precedent is set that you are giving more or have more than you actually have, then there's the room for disappointment, and there's room for turmoil and resentment and things to grow in that friendship that you really just don't need to have or want to have. So just be honest, and just tell them, like, I think you hit on the point that if you feel like you can't be honest with them, that's kind of a deeper conversation that you may need to have, possibly with them and or yourself. Um,
And
but
I get it. I've been shamed for being either flaky or not wanting to hang out. So I get the anxiety about wanting to be honest because I've literally been shamed about you're always tired and you never want to hang out. Blah blah. You damn right I don't. You're right. You're 100% right. I don't. So
and I
it is
get
what it
that.
is.
I get it in the but that's why I say it's more about the approach than the actual issue, right? Like I feel like people will be more open and compassionate in their response if it's more of a listen, this is personal. I don't have it to give versus I'm tired. Oh, I was asleep. Because after a while, I'm not saying that it's always excuses, but after a while, you're like, okay, this is just an excuse at this point. Like, what's going on? You really just want to know what's actually happening because, especially for people who know one another or claim to know one another very well, you can kind of sense when people are giving you like excuses. After a
Right.
while, you're like, all right, I know you. You ain't doing like, come on, be honest with me. And then you start thinking, we're close. We're friends. Why can't you just open up and tell me? And, as human beings, we always think it's us. We automatically go to, we did something, or something's wrong with the friendship, or what, or I'm not as trustworthy as they thought, or maybe I'm not as close to them as I thought. And then all these things start to happen. And so I think the communication is key to just be honest and, let them know. And regardless of the response, the weight that will be lifted off of you and the responsibility of it has now
Uh-huh.
been elevated to both parties. So I say this all the time. I'm never going to quiz someone on information I never put out there. I'm not going to be a teacher who's like, we got a pop quiz on a chapter that I never signed for you to read. Like, no. I'm not going to be like, you should have known. Or, yeah, I was saying I was tired, but you should know that I deal with anxiety and I don't want to be around. No, baby girl, I shouldn't know that. Like, yeah, I should be aware that you have certain things that you deal with on a day to day basis. And I want you to be aware that I'm sensitive to that. But I
Uh-huh.
also want you to be forthright in your communication about it. Maybe this is a season. Maybe this month has been too much. And I didn't know. You're not talking to me and we're not hanging out. So let's
Right.
put that out there. So I don't even really know what's going on in your life. So yeah, just be honest, baby girl or baby boy, whoever. I forgot what you said they were, and hope for the best.
Good luck to
I've
you.
never really I have said like, oh, I was busy, and I wasn't like super busy. I may have been doing something, but I could have took the time out to have the conversation or like responded. But I've never really dealt with feeling like I got to be like, nah, let me make an excuse.
Right. Anyway, on to you.
Um, guess this will be my last. Let me see. I did a couple. I think I want to do. I think I want to do this one. I was going to do another friendship advice, but it's kind of similar to other topics we've discussed. So, am I the a hole for laughing at my boyfriend for crying? My boyfriend came to my place yesterday evening. I could tell he was exhausted from work. We were about to watch a movie, but he wanted to take a shower first. He came out a few minutes later and looked for something in his jacket, and he looked kind of distraught when he couldn't find it. I asked him what was wrong, and he started laughing while crying a little bit. He said he bought a Snickers and couldn't find it, but he wanted to eat it now. He looked everywhere, but he didn't find it, and then he started breaking down a bit. And I know it sounds bad, but I started laughing a little bit because the situation seemed so bizarre to me. I've never seen him cry before. We've been dating for 10 months now, and this was the first time I saw him cry, which was a little insane to me. I think it's kind of the reason why I laughed a little bit. Anyway, he looked at me while I laughed, and his face kind of dropped. He put on his clothes and told me he'd go home now. I wanted him to stay because we were supposed to watch a movie, but he left anyway. I tried texting him the whole night. He didn't respond. I tried calling him, but he's not picking up. And I know that he has been online as of an hour ago. I feel like he's mad at me, or maybe he needs some time for himself, but I feel kind of bad for laughing.
So let's make sure I got the story right. So boyfriend came home from work, long day, took a shower, was looking for his Snickers, and started crying because he couldn't find it, but it was like a laugh cry kind of thing. And then she
Yeah, and then
laughed
she's
at him.
yeah, well, before she laughed, he explained what he was looking for, and then he started to break down a little bit more. So I'm assuming the crying got a little bit more intense than just like a ha ha ha, tears rolling down your face, more of like a sniffle. And then she started to chuckle a little bit.
My initial reaction to this is that your boyfriend's probably dealing with a lot more than he's telling you. Cause I've been there where it's something so small, but you've had such a shit day or a shit week, or there's been so much going on where that little Snickers, him not finding that Snickers probably tipped him over. He was like, fuck everything, life sucks, can't even have
Mm-hmm.
a fucking Snickers without it being a fucking problem. And he
Mm-hmm.
probably like it probably was a little bit laughable even to himself. That's why he probably giggled, because it's like, why am I crying and why am I upset about this stupid Snickers? But I
Mm-hmm.
get it. I've been there. I have had the worst day ever. And the smallest little thing, to get my Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A, I'm crying in my fries. Like, I get it. So,
Been there.
and I can see why, as you're like, if you're looking from the outside in, and maybe you guys didn't have a chance to talk about the day where, like, once he tells you, like, I'm crying because I can't find my Snickers, I probably would have giggled at that, admittedly, if I didn't know what was going on. Like, if I knew
Yeah.
my partner was having a really long day and they're having a shitty day and that happened, that's one thing I'd be like, okay, is it a little bit silly? Maybe a little bit, but I know they're having a bad day. I know how that is. So like I can empathize. But if you didn't know that, I can see why you did giggle. And hopefully you weren't being like, ha ha ha, you fucking wimp, ha ha, get over it. Like if you were doing that, yeah, I probably would also be a little mad at you. But just give him a little bit of space. Like I said, maybe he's just going through a lot, on his personal life. You've only been together for 10 months, and I know how men are, they ain't expressing themselves emotionally. So you may not even know he's going through a lot because he probably didn't tell you anything. So give him his little bit of space. He might be a little mad in his feels, but once he's able to calm down, once he gets his Snickers, maybe a little nap, he'll be able to come back and be like, okay, that was a bit much. Did I like it? No, but I don't need to ignore you, or I know you didn't do it because you're a bad person. It probably was a little funny to be like, Snickers, like what the fuck are you crying about?
Right.
So I think this is definitely something that can be rectified / laughed at in the future, but just give the person a little bit of space. Let them have their feelings.
Yeah. So, a couple of things. I definitely agree with what you said as far as it's probably something bigger. If it seems like someone is catapulting over the edge of over something what you consider small, it's never that. It's a buildup.
Mhm.
It's been like layering upon layering, and then that one thing just took them over the edge, because they haven't unloaded whatever's been building up
Mhm.
internally. And you said when you mentioned, or they mentioned, that they could tell they were exhausted when they came home, when they came into the apartment. So, being tired, you're not you when you're hungry. You're looking for your Snickers. You're just like,
Okay.
and you listen. All jokes aside, I have been there where I have like I got a plan. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take me a shower. I'm gonna queue up Netflix. I'm gonna queue up my comfort show. I know I got some XYZ in the fridge waiting for me. I'm gonna heat that up and I'm gonna have me a good night because it's been a long day. And I get home and what I was looking for in that fridge ain't there.
Mm.
Or I turn on Netflix and that show has now been removed.
Like Netflix likes to do.
Baby, when I tell you the chopper ringing, like screaming into a pillow.
It
So
happens. We all have those days.
you
Everybody has
have
those
those
days.
days. You really do. Like, it's okay. What I will say is a couple of responses I have to the snickering. Obviously, they were hurt because they went home. And so I would say, in your approach to trying to reach out to them, the one and only thing you should be doing is apologizing at this
Right.
point. Like, if you're sending them messages, I'm hoping it's not saying, please talk to me, please call me back, hello, all these kind of abrasive things. I'm gonna say, if you haven't, or the one message that you should have sent is, you know, I shouldn't have laughed. I didn't know what was going on. I was taken aback. Maybe you're someone who laughs in those kind of situations, like inappropriate situations. We've talked about that before. Express that to them. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. I hope that you know that I'm here, and I hope that it's soon that we're able to communicate about this.
Right.
Don't try to rush anybody on your time. I know
Exactly.
that we're prone to think the more and more you reach out, the more and more someone's going to think that you care, which works in certain scenarios. But I honestly feel like in scenarios where people's feelings are hurt, and especially in times where they've shown vulnerability, which is proven to be one of the more difficult traits of human
Hmm.
beings, or anybody, I would say. Even animals don't like showing vulnerability sometimes.
Right.
Um, it could take a little bit of time. So you can't like rush them. Acknowledge that, hey, I know you were in a vulnerable moment and I made it really uncomfortable.
Right.
I would love to talk about it. You're also going to have to think about the post situation. It may take some time for this person to open back up to you again in that capacity,
Right.
because um that comfort doesn't feel there. Don't think it'll never happen. Just be mindful of it and extend grace to them as you're
Hmm.
trying to build that trust again. Because oftentimes we see our partners as a safe space, especially in the home. So, we talked about this a little bit last week with roommates. They don't live together because he went home, but you were there. So he equates your place, you being a safe space, so that place is also a safe space. So if he dragged in from outside, exhausted, feeling like the weight of the world was on his shoulders, and he came into where he thought a safe space was, and then that safe space was compromised,
Hmm.
it's going to take some time to build that back up. So, um, I have been guilty of laughing in inappropriate situations. And I've had to apologize and express, regardless of whether you think it's an excuse or not. Sometimes I use laughter as my own coping mechanism. And I've worked on that with therapy and just different things like that, and being more present and intentional.
Hmm.
So, and we really underestimate the power of like being able to eat and rest.
Right.
Elijah told God, I want to die. That's what he told him in the Bible. And God said, why don't you go eat something? Lay down in this bush, take a nap. He did just that. He woke up and went on about his mission.
Okay.
Okay. So don't underestimate a nap and a good meal. Now that Snickers necessarily wasn't a 5-course meal, but maybe
But
it was his little treat at
it's
the
what he
end of the
needed.
day.
Okay.
Okay.
He was looking
Sometimes you
forward
just
to it.
need a little bit of a treat to look forward. Sometimes, here's the bigger picture for me. Sometimes you just need something to look forward to keep you going. And maybe that Snickers was that small thing that he was looking forward to at the end of the night. Eating that Snickers, sitting on that couch and watching that movie with you was what he had, which was what had pushed him through that exhausting day. And
Okay.
he got home and that Snickers wasn't there. And then the person he wanted to eat that Snickers with and watch that movie laughed in his face.
Right in his
You got to
face.
look at it. You got to look at it from that aspect. Sometimes it's that serious. Like, we think situations are small, but sometimes they really be serious to people. So I think that'll help you approach it in your communication with him. And I think that'll help you approach it in whatever apology you're going to give. And
Hmm.
yeah, good luck to you, girl.
Yeah. To
I hope he
you.
calls back. You touched on it. This is my last point. You touched on it, and I don't want to be a proponent to say like men and women this and men should do this and women should do that, but it's just statistically proven that men are not as open and vulnerable. So when you do get those moments of a peek into the weight of the world that's on his shoulders, you really got to be intentional about how you respond to that, because a lot of times the world does tell men, I can't be vulnerable, I can't be open, I can't show any emotion, I never should cry. That's the last thing I should probably do. I mean, thankfully we're in more so of a generation where emotional awareness and emotional intelligence is a little bit more at the forefront of the conversation. But a lot of us have been preconditioned and a lot of unlearning is still happening. So if you're going to be in a relationship, make space for your partner to have that vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah. I say, everything you say, Jesus. Everything you said, I definitely agree with. Like, just give him a little bit of space. He probably was a little hurt by his lover laughing in his face because he couldn't find his Snickers, and I get it. I do get it.
The situation at its core is a little laughable for sure.
Maybe you'll laugh about it later in the future.
Yeah, maybe you'll laugh about it later. And maybe he went home, maybe he left, stopped at the gas station, got that Snickers, and took a good nap. And that's why he ain't returned your call. Because he sleep.
Maybe. Maybe.
So good luck to you. You wanna take us home with your last one, Mickey?
Yes, let's bring it home. Is it wrong to sue my friend because of a wreck?
Oh
So
my
last
God.
year,
You and the silly people.
last year, me and my best friend were driving down the highway, and a bus that was in front of us stopped to make a turn. My friend was driving and not paying attention, and I was looking at my phone. We ran into the back of the bus going 60 miles per hour. Thankfully,
Ooh,
neither of us were seriously injured, but my back
okay.
still hurts from the wreck. We were, of course, taken to by ambulance to the ER, had lots of
Ooh,
tests done and everything else, and now I am over $15,000 in debt over in medical bills.
yikes.
I decided last year to sue my friend to help pay for my bills, and now she is starting drama. Am I wrong for doing this? Is does suing my friend make me a bad person? No. Sue that bitch. Because why are you not paying attention while you're going 60 miles fucking per hour? You could have killed me, bitch. No, sue
Could
her
have been
ass. Run up
worse.
the
It could have
numbers. You need
definitely
to
been
call
worse.
Cameron Pentaluga. You need to call Jay Sanders.
Alexander Chenard, where you at, boy?
411 Pain. Call them all, bitch. Absolutely not. Sue that. Yeah, no, you're not a bad person. Because
One call,
not
that's
only are
all.
my life is in your hands. I can look at my phone. I'm the passenger. I don't have to pay attention.
Hmm.
You do, though. In a bus,
Yeah.
bitch, I could have died.
It could have
So
been
you lucky
bad.
I'm
I would
only
say
suing you
that.
for my medical bills. I'm sorry, I'm putting myself in this position. They should be lucky that they're only suing you or whatever for medical bills. Because what the fuck? I don't think the person's a bad person in this situation. I'm not above suing a friend if the situation does call for it. I'm not going
Hmm.
to actively try to sue my friends to fuck them over.
Right.
But if you almost got me killed or could have got me killed, then yeah, the least you can do is pay my medical bills. That's the least you can do.
Yeah. I know I joke about you be being sue trigger happy. You be ready to sue somebody, boy.
Oh, the day will
You be
come, and I
ready
feel
to
bad for
push
that
that
motherfucker.
button.
I feel bad for that bitch.
Uh, don't worry. As we grow, I'm gonna have things in place. You ain't gonna sue me, doc. Because I know you waiting for me to make it, so you can sue me for some
It's a
compensation.
lawsuit. It's a lawsuit.
I know I joke about that a lot, but I'm gonna say in this situation, I'm not gonna necessarily say you're the a hole. I still feel like I don't know the means in which you have tried to or exhausted to get this situation rectified for both parties. So I'm gonna assume that you have tried all of your means, talking to them, getting insurance to pay for it, um, whatever. This is a pretty tough situation because obviously this person wasn't paying attention. They should have been. It caused you not only pain, but monetarily, you've accrued debt. Who knows what you're trying to do in life? You could be trying to buy a house. You could be trying to do anything. I mean, nobody wants a debt lingering over their head, regardless of whatever you're trying to do in life.
Exactly.
So it's it's a sucky situation. I know personally for me, I would still try to exhaust what I could before suing. It's just something I feel like it's just one of those situations that alters a relationship and it never is the same again. So, and I mean that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? Like maybe the relationship does need to alter and now there needs to be a reevaluation of how you all move together forward in life, if you move together forward in life at all.
Mhm.
But I just take those kind of things very serious, so I really just sit back and I'm like, okay, is this going to really bring forth the total outcome I'm looking for? Is the $15 like worth what I'm looking for in the grand scheme of things? I think you are very much so in the right for trying to get what's rightfully due to you. Like, you didn't bring this pain upon yourself. So the $15,000 doesn't need to be your responsibility. So I definitely feel like I know I'm going to assume it was probably difficult for you to make the decision. Obviously, it's weighing on you because you reached out to, a forum for advice on it. But if it has altered, I'm going to assume that it probably altered their relationship and now they're feeling some kind of way about making that decision. I mean, baby, you made the decision that you felt like was best for your life. And whatever the outcome is as far as the relationship, you just have to take that with a grain of salt because you made a decision that you felt like was the best decision. And sometimes the decisions we make for ourselves affect the relationships around us. That's just the bottom line. Um,
Exactly.
and it doesn't always end the way we want it to. But I hope that you feel um, vindicated in your need to do this. Now, I'm going to say this. The true tragedy would be if you sue them and lost.
Mm.
Because there's also that, right? There's also, you have to take it to consideration. I'm taking you to court and I may not just lose this case, but I may lose a friend or a person that I care about. So that's something that I consider too when I think about these scenarios. But yeah,
I
you
will say
just need to,
$15,000 is not a small number. So
it's
I don't
not,
necessarily
no,
blame
that
you
could be
for
a down
doing that.
payment on a house.
Right. If that's the only way for you to get out of debt, because $15,000 is it's a lot. And if it's
Hmm.
you versus them debt, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm sorry.
You got to do what you got to do. And I've been in a situation before where I had a friend damage my car on their property. I was at their house, parked in their driveway. Like their car was up here, my car was like back of the front of the driveway, or at the end, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And as they were bagging up, they were not paying attention and they swiped the side of my car.
Mm.
Now, at the time, the only insurance that they had was no fault. I knew that they were in a situation financially where a a small increase in their insurance could make or break their financial situation. Let's just say that. So, we made an agreement. I trusted them in that aspect. We had it in writing. So it was legally binding. And, for you to pay whatever damages. And they did. It took them a while to pay me back. That's the grace that I decided to extend to them because I cared about them and I knew, the situation was messed up. But, I mean, it's not as significant as having $15,000 worth of debt and back issues because, back issues can last for a lifetime. But
Nothing to fuck around with.
yeah, I don't think you're the a-hole at
No.
all. I think you made the best decision for yourself. And I hope that it renders the outcome that you desire for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that is the conclusion of this week's episode of the Friendship University podcast. You know where to find us, but if you don't, you can find us on all socials on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. That's at Funny Podcast, at FUNIPODCAST. It'll be in the description box below. You can also find us via Gmail at friendshipuniversitypodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send in any information about friends, you want to send in topics you want us to discuss, we're trying to get an honesty box thing going. So if you want to drop some dirt, get something off your chest, if you're looking for some advice, send it on over to us. We'd be happy to read it on our show live. Yeah. Mickey, you got any final thoughts?
I have to go cook dinner, so no.
Okay, well, the quote of the day, we will end with this, is life is partly what we make it and partly what is made by the friends we choose. That is a quote from Tennessee Williams. Take that with a grain of salt as you all are writing in these information to these public forums. Think about the people who are making an imprint in your life. That's all for this week. We will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend.
Adios.